Hi, I'm Jonathan Hodgson, fourth generation farm here at Great Newsome Farm. We're over a 280 hectare, predominantly arable farm, but with more grass into the rotation these days. We grow a wide range of different crops. Certainly since 2019 we've changed the way we farm to be far more emphasis on soil health, looking after the soil and improving out the soil through various practices that we do on the farm. Since 2019 we've increased our rotation and made it more diverse. Previous to that we'd probably be growing 4 different crops. We're now up to 6 or 7, trying to add diversity in the rotation, which brings its own challenges in terms of what to grow and make sure those crops you grow do produce a profitable margin. But 5 years ago we introduced a herbal lay into the rotation. 12 months ago this field here got planted as a herbal lay, so we're now up to 11 hectares of herbal lay. Adding grass in the rotation is extremely important for us because we know it just is so much better for soil health. So it was a no-brainer. Having a herbal lay has got the diversity of the mixes in there, so it was really important. So but also the challenge with that is obviously we need to make sure we can make this pay as well. So we've got introducing cattle back on the farm and a few sheep, so we could integrate livestock as well onto these fields as well. So that's really important. So this will be in here for 4 or 5 years, and then we'll probably try and terminate certainly the grass element and try and leave the clover element in there, and we'll plant into winter beans, and then from the winter beans we'll go into a cereal crop, hopefully keeping some of the clovers alive in the soil. So, like I said before, we have quite a diverse rotation on the farm, all sort of coming around to a first sweet situation mainly. Break crops we grow on the farm is from spring oats to flax, hemp, oilseed rape, winter beans. And I suppose you can include the herbal lay as well, because that is a break, but obviously in a longer sort of setting, which just gives us opportunities to put in the catch crops, companion crops and the cover crops you see here. So we've got a cover crop here that we planted early August. Again, quite a diverse mix. There are 8-9 species in here, which hopefully will be producing enough fodder for our flying flock of sheep that we're getting around late December, early January time. They will come in here and be the amount we get varies depending on what the shepherd can let us have, but usually it's between 300-400 sheep. They'll be on a 20 hectare block like this for probably 3-4 weeks, depending on the density and the biomass of the crop, and then they'll move on to the next field. So we'll move from here and we'll just keep going around until we either run out of cover crop or run out of the season before we need to get on to establish the spring crops. Having things like this is really important. Obviously the cover crops are trapping nutrients that could be leached off, they're keeping a green cover on the field, they're protecting the soil from rain as like an armour, and then we're also recycling nutrients as well. And then obviously the sheep eating the crop, they'll be turning all that biomass into a stable form of urea, which then obviously will be slow releasing for the next 2-3 crops down the line. So behind me we've got a catch crop which we planted early August. Catch crops is something we've implemented for a few years now. I believe just having a living root growing in the summer months, it massively benefits the soil and massively benefits the following crop. You're having the maximum of solar radiation hitting that soil. We want to intercept that and put it into the ground. So having living roots on the soil like you see here is fantastic. We've got a mixture here of buckwheat, phacelia, oil radish, some volunteer peas, and which have grown really well considering the dry summer. And this will just massively improve soil health and be an excellent start for the next following crop. Right, so just behind me is a catch crop we established probably just 9 weeks ago while the wheat was still stood before we harvested it, and we got a contract in with a drone. So we thought we were really interested to see the idea of how if we can gain an extra couple of weeks by establishing, in this instance, a catch crop, or it could be a cover crop. You know, how much more biomass would we get from that? And so it came down, and it was really interesting to see, because the summer has been so dry. It did start to grow slowly, but it's only been in the last probably month since we've had a little bit of rain, and it's really come on. So it was a really interesting concept. I was unsure if it was going to work, but it did. So it's just nice to see those new developments in technology, that how can we implement them on the farm, and how can it benefit us in terms of getting these catch crops established and getting a real decent biomass growing through the summer months. So looking at this, I mean, this looks we've got some nice natural aggregation in this soil, which is, you know, it's really good to see, because when we started it was very blocky 6-7 years ago, but over the time using living roots in the soil, the organic matter we get on from the pigs, and some muck for straw deals, we're getting more muck on the farm, and chopped straw, and the use of gypsum on our land is really important, and it's really helping to get that real natural crumb structure that's really good to see, and all those living roots in the soil, and we're pumping carbon into the soil, just what you need. So we're just studying what was our first herbal layer, which had been in for 5 years. The reason we put this into a herbal layer to begin with is because it had a massive problem with blackgrass and wild oats, very unproductive. So we took the decision to put it into a herbal layer to try and help with weed suppression and improve the overall soil health. And so we skipped forward 5 years. We terminated the herbal layer, and then we went in with winter beans. The theory being that we'll put winter beans in to help with the reduction in leather jackets and wireworm before we go into a wheat this autumn. What we didn't expect to happen is obviously the white clover, as you can see, survived the termination, which we use glyphosate, and also the chicory survived, and the plantain. But we've harvested the winter beans. The clover stayed fairly low to the ground. White clover is always going to grow, and it's kind of that high. And then we took the beans off. Then we needed to get some rain, and it sort of pepped it up. So we got some sheep in from the guy we get the sheep off. There's 35-40 sheep in here, and they're going to try and graze this down as hard as we can, as long as we've got the sheep for. And then we'll go into a wheat, and then we'll just see what happens. We don't really know what could happen. I think the clover is not going to be an issue. The chicory and plantain may be an issue, and we're going to have to think about other strategies to try and sort of control that. But a really interesting idea, because it's something else that we've got a living root in the ground all year round for numbers of years, hopefully. But then we can still get a crop off, a commercial crop off it, and then we can get some sheep on. So then that's adding value by getting something else onto the land as well, generate some more income. So a really interesting idea. I hope it works. I hope we can continue it for a number of years, and then we'll just monitor it, and hopefully it will overall improve the quality of the soil as well.